Well, a new year has just arrived. 2018, the dawn of a new year. Well, of course, New Year's Day was just yesterday, and I hope everybody watching there had a fantastic day for New Year's Day. I'm sure most of you have, of course. My day was all right. It was just an ordinary day. It wasn't really that big of a deal, but whatever. But of course, I'm here to, of course, for my first video, 2018. I wanted to recap a lot of stuff on what happened, last year. In this video, of course, is going to be related specifically about Nintendo, of course. I say that because I wanted to recap my thoughts of 2017, as it's now known as the year of Nintendo, because that's what I truly feel. Not because I'm a hardcore Nintendo fan or anything like that. Well, I mean, I am, of course, but I'm not just trying to say it as a hardcore fan. But as a gamer's perspective, I felt that 2017 was truly the year of Nintendo. I mean, it was a comeback of one of my favorite gaming companies of all time, of course, and how they triumphed this year in 2017. I say that, of course, because, well, we got a new console last year, and that console was, of course, the Nintendo Switch. Um, Now, what do I think of the Nintendo Switch personally? I've been having a blast with the Nintendo Switch. It's really a fun and addictive console. I think the Switch was finally that console to outdo the Wii U's errors. I feel like, of course, it finally was able to achieve what the Wii U couldn't do, and that was to make, of course, gaming a possibility of not just, of course, playing it at home, but taking it, of course, with you, and of course, playing it at home comfortably at the same time. Um, but I've been having a fun blast with the Nintendo Switch, and I want to do a recap of also the stuff that I got that's heavily Nintendo related. Of course, it's not a lot, but of course, it is what I got, of course, from last year, and I've been having a lot of blast getting these merch and games, of course. As a hardcore Nintendo fan, probably haven't, of course, told anyone about this, but I do have plans to have a Nintendo collection in the future, of course. Um, my collection, of course, is not big at the moment, but I do hope that one day it does become something what I would expect. Because, for many years, as a kid, I've always thought of one day, what if I had a collection that was fully a Nintendo collection, just having every iteration of every Nintendo console and handheld in the palm of my home. Like, that's what I'm doing, of course. Like I said, my collection is not as big, but it's growing though. I can see that, and I hope that it keeps expanding, until I realize like I've obtained everything, of course. But of course, I just want to show you the stuff that I got from. That is, of course, Nintendo related products, and I want to show off, of course. But what better way? What other product would I show you right now, of course? And that would be the Switch itself, of course. As you can see, here is a actual Nintendo Switch console. Now, I did not get this at launch. Well, reason why I didn't get it at launch, well, for problems. I didn't have money to get one at the time, and I probably wouldn't even got one at launch since all of them were out of stock. But yes, this is an actual Switch. It's the, of course, the regular Switch model, the gray Joy Cons. I wanted the red and blue Joy-Con edition, but that was sold out, of course, and I wasn't able to obtain that. But I'm still fine with the one I have, and I've been having a blast with this console. Um, like when I first saw the trailer for the Nintendo Switch, well, I mean, I was hyped up because, I mean, as a hardcore Nintendo fan, I mean, you know, you're gonna get hyped up for a new Nintendo product, of course. But yeah, this is, of course, the regular model, and I've been having a really fun blast with this console. This console is definitely really something unique. You know, just the hardware, specifically the hardware, is what I'm a huge fan of. This is the first Nintendo console to fully DNA every iteration of every Nintendo console and handheld. Of course, from the NES, the Game Boy, the SNES, the N64, the GameCube, the DS, the Wii, and specifically the Wii U it has DNA of every Nintendo console, and I see that because I can tell that there are a lot of unique ideas from this console that is, of course, been that has been featured in many past Nintendo consoles and handhelds specifically. So this is really a unique console to really do that. I've never seen a console that has DNA'd past consoles of its time, and Switch has done that, and I've been a big fan of that, of course. But what better way to talk about Switch than the games, of course? Now, I don't own a lot of physical games too because I have some games digitally, but I can tell you the physical games that I own here. Well, well, for me, of course, when I was getting the Switch, of course, I wanted to, of course, get my first games physically because I didn't want it to wait to get them digitally. I was just like, oh, I just want to buy them already. Like I was just like, ugh. I don't want to wait until my Switch comes. I just want to get these games so that when I know my Switch, because I when I got my Switch, I pre-ordered it from GameStop. Now I got the Switch back in June, but of course I pre-ordered it because well they were too hard to find and I couldn't buy one physically, so I had to wait for a couple of days until it arrived. But I knew that I knew the time to wait was worth it, and so of course uh, the first couple of games that I gotten, well, first games that I bought, of course, physically were I mean, you cannot have a Nintendo Switch without this game. And besides, of course, I'm also a hardcore fan of this franchise, and it's my number one video game franchise in general. This game is just beautiful as hell. I'm sure people already know that this is, of course, Game of the Year for 2017, and this game is just really fantastic. This game just reminds me of just past Zelda iterations that, of course, I can remember. It's like it tries to take the original routes from the original Legend of Zelda game from the NES and kind of remastering it, but making it something better. It fully achieves what the original Legend of Zelda tried to do. Now, in the original Zelda, they tried to kind of make this connection between the past and the future. Of course, they couldn't achieve it because they thought the futuristic idea for Zelda didn't make sense at the time. But although this game is not really too futuristic, there are some elements that of course, fit and detailed what the original Legend of Zelda tried to do, and I see it in this game, and it's done really well. This is hard to be my favorite Zelda, but this is definitely my favorite Nintendo Switch game. Definitely. And I'm surprised Nintendo, of course, released it at launch day. I'm like, this is the best idea to, of course, to show off what the Nintendo Switch is capable of and what it can do. This game proves it, no doubt about it. This game is fantastic. If you're gonna get a Nintendo Switch, or if you got one, but you don't know what games to get this one first. This is gonna be a blast. So, the games that I got also when I got my Switch. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Well, I did not own a Wii U, unfortunately, and that is my biggest regret. I'm not owning one because I wish I did. But one of the games the reason I didn't own a Wii U is because, well, I mean, I just didn't know if I really felt like I wanted to own one or not because I was just like, I mean, at first, I'll be honest, a couple of the games on the Wii U did not interest me, but as I played more games from the kiosk machines from the Wii U, of course, because as a hardcore Nintendo fan, I mean, I love I love all the first party titles that were put on the Wii U, but I was like, I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, you have games like 3D World, and you have games like Donkey Kong, Country Tropical Freeze, and you also have Hyrule Warriors, and you have, of course, Smash Brothers. You also have Bayonetta 2, which is another great game, and then you have Mario Kart 8, and of course you had the HD remakes of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and I was just like, oh my God. And you had Splatoon, which was a new IP that was just fantastic, and I mean, I was just like, oh, why did I not get a Wii U? The Wii U had such a great library of games. I mean, it was just it was a console I regret not owning. Oh my god, I'm just like, ugh, why did I not pick up a Wii U? But anyway, I'll get back to Mario Kart 8 on the Switch. Just like the Wii U version, this game is god fantastic too. This is by far my favorite Mario Kart game. I say that because this game, and I mean it, this game, Mario Kart 8, is basically the first Mario Kart game that I feel like has every single iteration of the franchise and it's just packaged in one title. This is what this game is about. It's every Mario Kart game entirely, every single iteration from the franchise put in this one packaged, and it's done fantastic. I think this is a really well done game. This is same. It's just the same, of course, just as the Wii U version. Of course, it's just Mario Kart 8, and of course, the difference about the Wii U version of this game is that you get all the DLCs that were featured from the Wii U version. Of course, you get the Animal Crossing characters, you get Link, you get Tanuki Mario, Cat Peach, and of course you get all the DLC characters. But of course, there are new characters that are introduced in this game too. The Inklings from Splatoon are featured in this game, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, I wish they were on the Wii U version, but they're featured in this version of the game. And also, you also have Pink Gold Peach, which I believe is the most hated character in the game because I also hate her too. And I believe Nathaniel Brandy, if you guys know who he is, he's basically the guy who does the triggered series of all Nintendo games, but all his videos are all Mario games. But I mean, I like his content. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's basically how every Nintendo game triggers you or mind blows you. But it's pretty funny and consoles too. But go back to this game. I think this is really fun. Still like the Wii U version, it's still the same game, but it's really fun. And of course, on Switch, taking it with you or playing it at home, why not? One improvement of this version of the game than the Wii U version was the battle mode. The battle mode on the Wii U version was pretty dull. I say that because the battle mode didn't have any good stages. I felt like the battle mode was pretty weak, and it just didn't really look good. But the battle mode in this version of the game is fantastic. It's addictive. You'll love it. Of course, you gotta pick up the Switch. You pick up this game. I mean, but for those who have the Wii U version, and for those who are asking themselves, because you want to get a Switch, but you're asking yourself, do I really need to get this game because I have it on the Wii U, and for those who have all the content, and I'm like, I have all the DLC, but I don't know if I want to get it on the Switch because I already have it, and I'm not sure if I really want to get it on the Switch. Well, that's really up to you. I mean, that's really up to you if you really want this game. But like I said, for those who want to Switch and who want to find good recommendations, this is one of them, of course. And then again, come on, it's Mario Kart. Another game that I also got when I got my Nintendo Switch is ARMS. Mm, This game, I mean, it's not the type of fighting game that I'm into because I mean, my main fighting game franchise is obviously Smash Brothers, but a new iteration for a Nintendo franchise doesn't really hurt. But I think this game, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely if it's a game that you really want to test out the features of the Joy-Cons, this is the game for you because this really shows off good capabilities of the Joy-Cons. So really, this is a really good recommendation if you really want to use the Joy-Cons. I don't really use the Joy-Cons heavily because I feel like the Joy-Cons are not really my not really how I of course play with the Switch. I mean, I use them when I play it on handheld, but I don't use them separately a lot. I'll get to that in a minute though. But Arms, I feel like it's a game that I think is good to test the Joy Cons. I feel like it's really cool. I got this. This came with my Nintendo Switch because GameStop that I went to, GameStop had these bundles of switches. There was a family bundle, there was a party bundle, and there was the arms bundle. And so at first, I said to the person um, about what these bundles were about. Well, the person who worked at GameStop, and told me that I think the family bundle included Lego City and also included Cars 3, which I was like, I'm not interested in that. And the party bundle I think included Just Dance 2017 and One Two Switch. I didn't mind One Two Switch, but I was like, I don't want Just Dance. But then again, that bundle was way more expensive than the family bundle. So I was like, no. But I was like, what? And I said, what does the arms bundle include? Because I was really hyped up for this game. So I said, what does it include? So I got a 32 gig memory SD card. Got that with bundle that included with that, and just the console itself and the game. And I was like, well, I mean, I am hyped up to play ARMS, so it wouldn't be bad if I got it with it. So I was like, well, because I don't want. I mean, I wasn't really interested in getting Just Dance. I mean, I wouldn't mind One Two Switch, but as I know, the game is really disappointing as hell. But I didn't mind getting that at the time, but it's yeah. But I didn't want it to family bundle because I don't. I mean, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Lego City, and I don't mind playing that game. But then I was like, I don't want to get that Cars game, so I was like, no. So I was like, I mean, I'm gonna get the Arms bundle because, well, first of all, not just because it's a first party Nintendo game, but it's a new iteration to a Nintendo franchise, and I really want to experience it. So I was like, yeah, of course, this is the better version to get. But the game is it's pretty good, but it's not the best fighting game that I've played, but it's good, I mean, I see a lot of, I mean, I don't see many people playing it though, but I do see a lot of Nintendo YouTubers kind of posting a lot. I think Game Explain, which is a channel that's fully focused on Nintendo. I highly recommend them because they're really cool. They post a lot of content on ARMS, but it's pretty decent, but not the best fighting game that I've played. Not my type of fighting game, but I think if you really want a game that tests the capabilities of the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, this is your game. So, next up, well, if you're going to buy a Nintendo Switch, this is a game that I really recommend, of course. And as a huge fan of 3D Mario games, I never thought in my life I would see a return of 3D sandbox Mario games. Sure, we still had 3D Mario games, of course, with the Galaxy franchise and the 3D Land and 3D World games, but I didn't felt that those games were really sandbox. But I still didn't mind because I love those games, especially the Galaxy games. Galaxy 1 and 2 felt like the same game, but I still didn't mind because the Galaxy series was just really, really, really beautiful. 3D Land and 3D World was pretty good because it was a combination of 2D Mario and 3D Mario platforming at the same time, which I thought was pretty awesome. But a return to a Mario 3D sandbox game, I never thought would happen in years. After Super Mario Sunshine, everybody asked, were we ever going to see a 3D sandbox Mario game? Now we did. And we get it with this game, of course. Super Mario Odyssey, if not one of the best games that I've also played for the Nintendo Switch. This game is just fantastic. Well done. This is a really superb game on the Switch. And as a longtime Mario fan, I mean, like this to me just brought back a lot of nostalgia. It just it brought back so much memories of me playing Super Mario 64 and Sunshine. It just reminds me so much of this. Of course, the same team that worked on Super Mario 64 and Sunshine heavily worked on this game, and they made this really, 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 really well done. This is just, oh my God. Guys, if you are getting a Switch, you need to pick this up. This is a game that will mind blown your head along with Breath of the Wild. This is just well done, well made, fantastic. Recommend it. And I probably already showed it off because you probably saw the case. Well, the last physical game that I have is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, I just got this, of course, a couple of days ago. Actually, last week I got it. but this was my Christmas gift that I got for myself, of course. But I'm still playing it. It's really good. I mean, I've played the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. I did not own it, but I actually played it, and it was pretty good. It's good to see a JRPG franchise that's not Pokemon related come from Nintendo. But I mean, Nintendo did not, they published this, but of course, this is made by Monolith Soft. But this is actually really, really this is really good. I mean, I'm having a blast with this game. The story looks fantastic, of course, and as a huge fan of JRPGs, I just think this game is really good. Mechanics are pretty good. I'm still getting hard to on the mechanics in this game. I feel like they're kind of weird, but this is pretty fun though. I really like it. I mean, I haven't passed the game yet because I'm still playing it, but I can just tell you, excuse me, uh, what I can just tell you is that this game is really, really, really good. I recommend picking it up if you really want to try it. And then again, I think Xenoblade Chronicles is a good game. I mean, I like the first one. I haven't played X yet, but I really want to. I really want to play Xenoblade X. Although I know that it's different from the original Xenoblade Chronicles, but I still want to play it. Oh my god! I mean, just talking about it just wants me to. Yeah. I'm just like, why didn't I own a Wii U? The Wii U had great, great games, and I'm just like, ah. But I am eventually going to own one, not just for my collection, but because I really like the Wii U. I thought the Wii U to me was truly a console that was for gamers, like the Dreamcast was. The Dreamcast to me felt like it was a console that was really meant for gamers. That's how I felt about the Wii U, and that's why I liked it because it was just a console, not just because okay, it's a Nintendo console. Yeah, yes, I love Nintendo to death, but I'm just like I don't just love it because it's a Nintendo console. I just love it because I just love it because it's just a console that is for gamers. The dream, like I said, the Dreamcast wasn't really the most successful console, but at least it felt like a console that was, for gamers. And that's what the Wii U felt. And I'm like, the Wii U was truly what it was. It was a console that any gamer can pick up and play. And that's what I appreciate what it did too. But go back to Xenoblade. Yeah, it's really fun, of course. Really good game. Now, for those who don't have a Switch, of course, or who do, of course, these are the cartridges look like. And one cool thing about the cases is that um, they have these artworks in the backs in this side here, which is pretty awesome. And this is the cartridge for Xenoblade. But one of my favorite designs of cases. Well, one example would be in Super Mario Odyssey. If you could see there, it has the lyrics of the Jump Up Superstar song when you open the case. It's pretty cool. And my favorite, of course, would be Zelda because, well, just look at that. That's freaking awesome. One thing that I don't like about the Switch cases is that they're kind of big, and besides, the cartridges are really small, so I don't know why they made these cases, which is really weird. And then again, they have the manual stuff there, which I'm not a fan of because Nintendo doesn't really do instruction manuals anymore to their games. I think they stopped doing that. I think back in 2015. But yeah, But I do have also digital games on my Nintendo Switch. The digital games that I have are Splatoon 2. I got Splatoon 2 digitally because when it was coming out, I was like, I'm too lazy to go to GameStop to pick up the game. I just like want it already because when I played the original Splatoon, that was just mind blown. I was like, oh my god, dude! Like this new IP directly coming from Nintendo. I'm just like, this is an IP that could also just get me addicted and just get me mind blown. But the first Splatoon game on the Wii U was fantastic. And it's my favorite Wii U game. It's an awesome game, and I'm just like, if you have not played it, you have to. It's just awesome. Splatoon 2, it does feel like the original one, but I think there are some stuff that we didn't get to see in the original game, and I feel like the sequel is still the same, but it's just like the original one. It's addictive, it's fun, and it's just something brand new, and I really love that game. That game's awesome. I mean, I've played. I mean, I only play more online with that game. I haven't played the entire campaign mode fully, but I need to get back more into the campaign mode because I guess because since I play more online, it's hard for me to kind of get to the campaign mode. The campaign mode's not that bad, but it's like, to me, online multiplayer is where the game sets the bar. Like that's just where the game is just awesome. Another game that I also have digitally is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 for the Nintendo Switch. So, as of course Nintendo has gotten third-party support back with the Nintendo Switch, and we have seen games like Skyrim, Doom, LA Noire also come to the Nintendo Switch as well. Skyrim, I mean, like, okay, I'm not the biggest Skyrim fan, but I really like Skyrim, but it just didn't interest me owning it because I'm just like, I already played Skyrim a bunch of times, so I'm like, why do I want to play it again? But it's cool that it came out on the Switch, and a lot of people enjoyed it, and I'm glad that it did great on Switch. And I mean, it's fantastic. I still want to get Doom because Doom, oh my god, when I played that game, I played it on the Xbox One, and I'm a huge Doom fan, and I was just like, I think Doom, yes, I had to refer Doom 2016 because that's what we know it as. I think that is better than the original Doom. I mean, the original Doom is still a classic, but it doesn't age well as other classic video games do. But I still feel like this reboot of Doom is just better than every iteration of the franchise. I'm just like, God damn it, yeah. And that coming to the Switch, big thumbs up to Bethesda for bringing that. I still need to get that game because I really want to play it. I have never played LA Noire, so I have no idea how that game is. But I've heard a lot of people, say that they actually like it and they enjoy the game, of course. But I need to give the game a chance to see what's the difference from it. And it's from Rockstar, of course. I mean, I'm not gonna expect. I mean, it does look similar to GTA, but I don't think it's gonna be identical to GTA or, of course, or than Red Dead Redemption. But yeah, and there are already rumors that a GTA 5 port on the Switch could be coming. But I'm just like, if it's possible, that'd be cool. But I don't know. But I think Rockstar did a good job with LA Noire. I mean, the reviews have been well praised. So if they can really bring more content to the Switch, I think that'd be awesome. I mean, I would love Red Dead Redemption 2 to be on the Switch. That's a game that I would be hyped up for if it was coming to the Switch too. So back to Dragon Ball. Well, as you guys know, I was a big anime fan, and of course, one of my favorite franchises is, of course, Dragon Ball. But that wasn't the reason why I got the game. The reason was because I really wanted a third-party game for the Switch, and I felt like it was time for me to finally get myself a third-party game to the Switch. And I thought, well, why not Xenoverse 2? Because it's been a while since I have played a Dragon Ball game. I mean, the last Dragon Ball game that I physically played before Xenoverse 2 was Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2. That was like the last Dragon Ball game that I remember playing so much. That was like the last Dragon Ball game that I got so addicted to. And after that, I mean, I haven't played any iteration of the franchise. And then Xenoverse came, and I was like, But then I was like, well, I mean, I did play Xenoverse 2 on PS4, so I was like, I mean, it wouldn't hurt if I get the port on Switch because I actually wouldn't mind having a Dragon Ball game physically. I mean, I didn't buy it physically; I bought it digitally, but I got all the content in the game. Of course, I when the game first came out to the Switch, there was like a pack where we can unlock all the characters like for free, like in day one when the game came out on Switch. So that also included Goku Black. I also got him as well, and then after that, they released the DLCs uh, in in the Switch version. So of course that included the Universe 6 pack. Of course that included, I believe it was Champa, Vados, uh, Kaba, and Frost. And then the story mode, of course, I got that, and I also got the uh, the future pack. I believe it was that's what it's called. I don't remember, but that's the pack that includes Zamazu, Super Saiyan Rose, Goku Black, and I also got the pack that had the storyline as well, which and that the storyline, the Goku Black storyline saga in Xenoverse 2 was done really well. I really liked it, and I really liked how they if you played the pack, of course, the cutscenes for the storyline in Xenoverse 2 was done really well, and it was really the best pack that they played. Recently, they did they put out the packs for I think Android 13 and Tapion. Um, I and Buhan, which is the Super Buu transformation where he absorbs Gohan. They added him, and then they added Deborah too, which I got those. You know, I mean, I've been having fun with the game. I mean, it's okay. It's not like my favorite Dragon Ball game, but I would love to see the up and coming Fighters Z game being ported to the Switch. 'Cause I feel like that's a game that truly needs to be on the Nintendo Switch. I'm just like, I can picture that game on my Switch right now. I'm just like, that game would just mind blow me if it was for the Nintendo Switch. But it's pretty cool. I mean, I've been having fun with it. I mean, I've had a lot of fun with the parallel quests that they had in the game. Of course, the story mode was pretty decent. No, the online mode of the game pretty fun. I mean, I don't play online a lot in this game because I don't really play the game as much as I used to. But if I get bored, I'll probably just play it once in a while. But it's not like a game I play every day. But it's definitely something that I wanted to pick up, and I did not regret it. I thought it was something I can really try for the Switch, the first third party game that I wanted to get. Well, it was that game, so I was like, oh, why not? And I also got recently I also got the Resident Evil Revelations collection on the Switch. That includes both one and two, but I got those digitally because I couldn't find a physical copy anywhere, and so I was like, I mean, for me, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, so I thought having a Resident Evil game with me on the Switch wasn't that really bad of a deal, as I thought this was really something cool. So, you know, it's really amazing to see a franchise that I love to death just being ported to the Switch. I think it was really done well. I mean, I've been playing Revelations 1. I haven't played the sequel yet, but of course, the game has been out for like I mean, it's been out for like 4 years already. It first was a Nintendo 3DS exclusive first, but then it was brought to the PS3, 360, and then the next gen platforms. And I was shocked when they brought it to the Switch. I noticed that when I saw the Nintendo Direct from back in September, and I was like, "Holy!" Like they're bringing Resident Evil Revelations to the Switch. I'm like, I gotta get this. Like, I gotta get these games, dude. I'm just like Resident Evil on Switch. It's just awesome. But one thing that I would love to see later on the Switch is Capcom porting Resident Evil 7 on Switch. Now, the guy who directed Biohazard did stated that he doesn't have plans to put it on the Switch. Not yet, but he did say, never say never. So I'm like, that means we will get a port of it on the Switch. Maybe someday, just not yet though. But I'm just like, if that game comes on the Switch, I will get mind blown because that game just mind blown me. I know a lot of people have problems with Resident Evil kind of being first person, but I thought it was really, it was a really unique idea because I was like, well, many iconic franchises are changing now. I mean, Zelda just, Breath of the Wild wasn't really as a traditional Zelda game. It felt more of like an adventure exploration game, but it felt more of like a survival type of game. But what they did was that they wanted, they changed the formula to make it its own thing, to make it, kind of stay away from past iterations. I see that with Resident Evil 7, of course. Resident Evil 7 no longer has that third person view that the franchise has always had for many years. Now we see this survival horror first person view, which kind of reminds me of the canceled Silent Hills PT game. But I thought, dude, I'm like, forget about PT, of course, now that Konami has killed it. This is the true PT right here. Biohazard, best horror game that came out for the Switch, definitely. Not the Switch, the PS4. Sorry about that, guys. I messed up. But the PS4 and Xbox One. But yeah, I did mess up right there. But Biohazard on PS4 and Xbox One, it's definitely a great game. You know, I mean, I wish Capcom would have ported that game on Switch. That'd be awesome. But maybe someday we will get it on Switch. But yeah, I did mess up when I was like saying the platforms and all. But yeah, but yeah, that is a game I'd recommend for PS4 and Xbox One. I think they released a VR version of Biohazard for the PS4. I haven't tried that out, but I've heard people say it's pretty intense. But I would like to try it, of course. Um, so of course, Resident Evil Revelations on the Switch. I've been having a blast with with the games. I mean, I played have played Revelations on 3DS. I don't have it, but I played it, and it's pretty good. It's a really good handheld Resident Evil game, and I really liked it. But I'm glad that it's ported to the Switch, and I'm like, well, it doesn't hurt. I mean, I know Capcom was not fully, supportive of the Switch when it first came out, but they thought, okay, maybe if they can port some older titles, it may do good. I mean, they ported Ultra Street Fighter 2 for the Switch, and that did sell really well. I heard in the UK it sold more than the controversial Marvel versus Capcom Infinite game. I say controversial because, well, I feel like that's a low down for the franchise. But yeah, I feel like I feel like Capcom is going to be now fully supportive of the Switch, so we could see new IPs from Capcom coming to the Switch. One of the newest IPs we're going to see is Mega Man 11, and I'm really hyped up for that game. Never thought a new Mega Man installment would finally come. I'm like, because we were all, I mean, all of us, we were all heartbroken, or most of us felt a little heartbroken when Mighty Number 9 came out, and let's forget that did not exist. But we have a new iteration of Mega Man, so I feel a lot hyped up for it. I think Capcom's gonna do a good job with that game. I mean, I'm not a big Capcom fan, of course. Well, not anymore. But I mean, Capcom is still a great, I mean, they're still a good publisher. I mean, they're not like Konami or EA, but I mean, at least they're not really vicious. But we'll see how their support of the Switch goes. So of course, yeah, that is all games that I have on Switch. Of course, I have two, well, I guess two virtual console games, which would be the Arcade Archives versions of the past Nintendo arcade games, and these games are the original Mario Brothers and versus Super Mario Brothers. Of course, just like the arcade ports of the game, they just feel the same. But I think having, as a like I said, as a hardcore Nintendo fan, I'd say, having Nintendo arcade games at your home and on the go, of course, double thumbs up. Really awesome to see those games being ported to the Switch. Now let's check what I also got for the Switch. This on my desk, and I have to go with the Pro Controller because I knew if I was going to play my Switch docked, I just did not feel comfortable using the Joy-Con grip. I have used it. I've used it when I was playing Zelda, but I was just like, this just feels awkward to death. Like, maybe this is something that kids might, like using, but I'm not used to using a small grip because I know the Joy-Cons are bigger than the grip, but I'm just like, this just feels awkward. And I'm like, I need a controller that truly feels traditional and does not feel bulky like the grip. So, well, I got the Pro Controller. And the Pro Controller, it retailed $79.99, of course. So I think this was a good deal for me because I wanted a Pro Controller, and I was like, I cannot use the Joy-Con separately because I don't feel comfortable using them separately. I don't get interested in using them separately. But the Pro Controller was a good deal, and if not, this has become my second favorite Nintendo controller. My main favorite Nintendo console controller is the GameCube. The GameCube's controller is still, in my opinion, the best Nintendo controller ever. It's like the GameCube controller is just really comfortable, and it's just a controller that I cannot put my hands down. But this controller, oh my god! And the first time you lay your eyes on this, and also when you also just play with it. Oh, this controller is really a comfortable controller. It's really, really cool. If you are going to get a Switch, well, I mean, it really depends. If you just want to use the Joy-Con separately, that's really up to you. I mean, I'm not going to say you should get a Pro controller, but if you are interested and you really think it's a better way to play other than the Joy-Cons, definitely get it. It's a good deal. They have other iterations of the Pro controller. I believe there's like a Inkling, a, a Splatoon Inkling version of the Pro controller, and they recently released a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 version of the Pro controller, which I heard they have kind of improved the D-pad on that, but I don't have problems with the Pro controller's D-pad. I think the Pro controller's D-pad still feels really, still feels like a regular D-pad. I mean, it does feel a little weird at first, but I don't have problems with it, so I don't think it's really that bad. But let's check what I also got here too. Yep, I actually got myself this. This is a Super Mario Maker Mario figure. I got this, it was a few months back. I got this at an anime store that was next to a local mall that I would usually go to. Uh, so when I saw this, I was like, is that like an actual figure? Because if it is, I want to buy it. And so when I looked at the box, I was like, oh my god, it is. So this costed, it was like $44. Not that expensive, and I really thought this was a good thing for my Nintendo collection. I was like, I need to get this, and this looks really cool. This is actually from Japan. I did an unboxing of this a while back. This figure was made by a company called Taito, which Taito is a company that really makes good quality figurines and products in Japan. They used to do video games back in the NES era, and some of their games are really cool too. But yeah, this was just really awesome to get, and it's really awesome. It's gonna take a look at the figure. I'm gonna show you a little bit of the detail, of course. And there's all the screwdriver parts in the back. I'm not a fan of that, but I think it still looks pretty cool. And the hammer too, I got that. That was really my unboxing video for this thing was really awkward at first because I was just like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna open the box, but I'll put a link on that if you're interested in watching it. All right, what is another Nintendo product that I just got to? And this one along with the Switch is the biggest one, but I never thought I can actually own one of these in my collection. I didn't think it was possible, but I did eventually get my hands on one, and I'm happy that I have it. And what is that product? The Super Nintendo Classic Edition console. Yes, this is an actual one, guys. This is not a fake. This is of course not, a bootleg or whatever. This is an actual SNES console, of course. Don't believe me? Here is the official Nintendo licensed product there, stamp, and there's an actual one. I'm not joking, of course. So, how did I get this? And how did I get this product? Well, it was back in October, of course, and I got a notification that GameStop, I mean, all GameStops worldwide, but I got a notification from GameStop saying that they were going to restock Super Nintendo Classic Edition consoles back for a limited time. I think for like only 1 week. But I was like, okay, this is my last shot. If I do not get my hands on one of these, I'm just not going to fall for it. I'm just going to be like, you know what? No. Because people just get all of them and they just, restock them online and sell them for like, does like triple up the prices. I'm just like, no. If this is going to be my last time, like if I don't own one, I'm not going to fall for another one again. But I was wrong. I rushed to my local GameStop, actually got one. got one retaily, and paid $80 for it. I did not, of course, pay a scalper to get one of these. I actually just got one, of course, like a regular customer would. And of course, as any Nintendo fan, what I would do is I would patiently wait and not try to get one from a scalper because I just didn't feel like it was worth it. And then again, why do you want to buy a product that's not even worth hundreds of dollars from somebody online or even from eBay or Amazon? It just doesn't worth it. But yes, $80 for this, and was a good price. Um, last year, I mean not last year, but 2 years ago, as you all know, the NES Classic came out. I tried to get my hands on one because I was like, when I heard the announcement of a NES plug and play from Nintendo, I was like, I gotta get it. I just need to get it. But unfortunately, like we all saw, scalpers came in the way, resold all the stocks, tripled up the prices online, and it was impossible to get one. Unfortunately, Nintendo did discontinue the NES Classic, but of course, they did announce last year when before these were gonna hit stores that that they will keep continuing to stock SNES Classics through the end of this year, and they're going to bring back the NES Classic this year. I believe in summer they're going to bring it back, which is awesome because I'm just like, now if I was able to get one of these, I definitely think I could get my hands on an NES Classic, and I hope I do because my God, I'm just like, I got pissed when I didn't get my hands on an NES Classic, but but of course got my hands on the SNES Classic, which is not a bad deal, and I've been having a blast with it. It just brings back so much nostalgia and memories that I have with the Super Nintendo. And of course, Super Nintendo was the first ever video game console that introduced me into video games in the first place. And so just going back to this console, it just brought back a lot of nostalgia and a lot of fun memories that I had with this system. And this is a well-made product, guys. I mean, this is just something that I would just play for hours and hours and hours. And of course, I'm not the biggest fan of plug and plays, but if a plug and play console is of course made by my favorite gaming company, Nintendo, that of course would excite me more because I'm like, a plug and play console of a retro Nintendo console that is modified in HD and is emulated like a Super Nintendo, like an original Super Nintendo would, of course, and include a bunch of games from 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 Nintendo's library of either, well, this is of course Super Nintendo, but from the NES to SNES. It's amazing. I mean, this is a really good price. Unfortunately, of course, this does only include 21 games. The NES Classic only came out with 30 games. And yeah, that was a little drawback, but I don't mind it. I think Nintendo did a great selection of first party, and of course, they got third party developers to publish their games onto this thing. Of course, for example, you got Final Fantasy 3, which is Final Fantasy 6. You also have Secret of Mana. You have Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and you also have Contra 3. I mean, there's just a bunch of games, but from Nintendo's library, I mean, you got Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, A Link to the Past. You also have just classics like Yoshi's Island, and of course, Super Punch Out, Kirby's Kirby Superstar. There's just a bunch of games. I mean, even Super Metroid. Like, it's just fantastic. And first time ever, the game that you see up there is included in an official Nintendo product. Star Fox 2, the canceled sequel to the original Star Fox game that would have been released back in 1996, is finally released and finally completed. Yes. No longer will you have to play betas. You are now, of course, going to play, of course, a complete version of this game. I really enjoyed it, and I already completed Star Fox 2, and it's just good, but it doesn't age well. I feel like the original Star Fox and Star Fox 2, I feel like those games don't age as well as future installments of the franchise as well. Like, of course, games like Star Fox 64, Adventures, Assault, I feel like those games still age well. But, I mean, the one that still ages well is Star Fox 64. But if you're talking about the original Star Fox on Super Nintendo, I don't think that's a game that ages well. I mean, back then it was a big deal because it was the first game to utilize the Super Effects chip that will become something unique for gaming for years to come. It was the first three polygonic game that just looked really good. But it doesn't age uh, as the other iterations of the franchise would, nor the sequel. But I think including it for the first time, definitely fantastic. I hope Nintendo does put Star Fox 2 on the Virtual Console because I feel like it's a game that should be on the Virtual Console now that it was released on the SNES Classic. But I don't think the SNES Classic is worth it just to play Star Fox 2. But I feel like, if you want to get a great plug and play console that's emulated well, and it's just something that you can expect, you know, from this package, of course, just 21 games, 21 classic games being remade in HD, and the emulation just done really good. This is just something I would recommend you pick up, of course. And all the games, these are all the 21 games are included, of course. And of course, Star Fox 2 is in the bottom. But definitely, this is something I'd definitely pick up. Only thing that I was disappointed is they did not add a Chrono Trigger. Why? No Chrono Trigger. Are you serious? How can you have an SNES Classic without Chrono Trigger? I know you can hack it and stuff, but this is just going to be a normal package. I do not want to hack it and all. I just want it just to be the way it is. I want it to be normal. I don't want it to be hacked or anything. This is just going to be still a normal package, and that's how I'm going to keep it. But that was pretty cool, of course. And what did I also get? Well, this might weird you out, but I didn't care because I thought this would be cool. And voila, a Pikachu plushie. Yeah, I actually got this. And I was like, because since I need to expand my collection, of course, I need to uh, of course, get something that would be awesome to get and cool to get. And I thought, why not a Pikachu plushie? Would be awesome. I got this at GameStop, of course, as GameStop is bringing in products from Japan, of course. I say that because, as you all know, Japan has Pokemon centers, which are the little shops, of course, that are fully dedicated to Pokemon merchandise. And so this is actually from Japan. This is from the Pokemon Center in Japan. It has the labeling there. I don't know if you can see it because it's really hard, especially like when you're trying to like show it. Okay, let me see if you can see it now. There you go. Pokemon Center, and has the website there too. But definitely that this is from Japan, of course, and it's really awesome. And it also includes the Hallowtown hash cap. Of course, this is really awesome. It's just amazing to have this. This is just really cool, and it's really cute too. I mean, I really love it. And of course, I'm like, I know my collection is going to be filled with Pokemon merch, not because it's a Nintendo franchise, but because, well, it's one of my favorite franchises in gaming in general, and I really love. I'm a really big Pokemon fan, so of course I was like, I need to get this. But yeah, it was very cool. Um, this is just really awesome, guys. This is tell the back, really cool, really really awesome. But that's the plushie itself. All right, next thing I got here: McDonald's, Mario, and Pokemon figures. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I actually got these. These are from the Happy Meal McDonald's toys. This is Litton. This is very cool. I know you're gonna be like, why are you showing toys? But I'm like, I don't care. I mean, it's good to have these. I mean, because this expands my collection too. And of course, here's Rowlet. And I also have Lunala. I like Lunala because one of the coolest features about this figure is, well, you push it, he glows up, which is really cool. This is really a cool figure. And I also have I keep forgetting what the name of this one is. This is the only Pokemon I feel like is forgettable from the seventh gen. But uh, but I keep forgetting which one this Pokemon is. I mean, I know who this is because I've actually, I've seen him in the Sun and Moon game, but I'm like, I keep forgetting which one this is. I forgot. This is the only Pokemon that's probably forgettable to remember. Uh, and I believe that's all the ones I have from Pokemon. I'm only missing Solgaleo. I believe I'm also missing a Yungoos and a Pikachu. Solgaleo I'm missing, of course. I don't have Solgaleo. I don't have the Yungoos and the Pikachu figure. I don't have those. I do have almost all the Mario ones, and I say almost all of them, of course. I have Mario, Peach, Bowser, or King Koopa in Japan, Yoshi. It's kind of hard to like detail because his face is like kind of covered. His face, and his tongue sticks out. My favorite, Luigi in a pipe, and a red Koopa shell. I'm only missing the one-up mushroom. That was the only one I needed because I actually have all of them, but I'm missing the one-up mushroom. That is the one I need, and if I had that one, that would have completed the Mario figure collection. But from the Pokemon ones, I mean, I have I have Lunala, I have Litten, and I have Rowlet, and I also have I keep forgetting. Like I said, I keep forgetting this one. This one is the only Pokemon from Sun and Moon that I feel is forgettable. Anytime I see this Pokemon, I'm just like, oh, it's that fucking weird Pokemon. The one that looks like, the one that has like that little nose pinch right here. I keep forgetting what this name of this Pokemon is. I'm honest. I mean, I don't remember who this Pokemon is. But I mean, of course, I do remember Rowlet, Litten, and Lunala because of course I do have Pokemon Sun for 3DS, but I don't want to talk about that game because I was really disappointed with Pokemon Sun. That game was I thought it just didn't feel Pokemon-ish. I say that because the game was too damn easy, and I was just like, that doesn't feel Pokemon because I was like, Pokemon is supposed to be more about interactiveness, and of course it was more about trying to explore your own path. And in Sun and Moon, it takes that, and it makes the whole game seem easy. And I'm just like, that's not Pokemon. So of course, I did not want to get Sun and Moon. I mean, Ultra Sun and Moon because I was like, it might be the same thing, and all they just did was just add all the legendaries. And I'm like, I'm like, sure. I'm like, it's not bad of adding all the legendaries and the shinies, but I'm just like, am I really gonna get a Pokemon game just because of all the legendaries? No, I don't care. I'm waiting for Pokemon on the Switch. That is the game that I'm waiting for. And if it's similar to Sun and Moon, I don't care. At least I wouldn't mind having an actual main series Pokemon game. Now, for me, as a diehard Pokemon fan, I only stick to main series Pokemon games because I'm not a fan of the spin-off games. Now, I don't say that I hate spin-off games. I mean, there are some that I like. I love the Stadium games. I love Snap. I especially love Puzzle League for the N64. And of course, I also like the Coliseum and XD games for the GameCube. As I thought, okay, those are fun, but I'm just like the other games, like the Mystery Dungeon games and the other games like from mobile devices and stuff like that. I'm not into that. I feel like the spin-off, or Hey Pikachu for that matter, but I feel like spin-off games are just something that that Game Freak, the Pokemon company, and Nintendo is just doing just to get some money, of course, as you all know, Pokemon is a big brand for Nintendo, so yeah, that does make sense. But yeah, these are all the McDonald's these are all the McDonald's, Mario, and Pokemon figures that I have, but I thought these were cool to have. Uh, well, the Pokemon ones I actually got. I actually bought Happy Meals for these, but the Mario figures my little brother gave me all of them. But the Koopa shell, I actually got that. The Koopa shell I actually got because I bought a Happy Meal just to figure if I can get myself a Pokemon figure. And I was like, I hope it's either a Yungoos, a Pikachu, or a Solgaleo because those are the only ones I needed. Unfortunately, I didn't get one. Oh, was it Tungus or Yungoos? Because I remember I think it was Tungus, because Tungus is the taller one, and Yungoos, of course, is the smaller one. But it was a Tongoose. It's Tongoose. I kept messing up. But I know there was a Tongoose because, of course, Tongoose is the taller one. And so they had that one, and they had Pikachu and Solgaleo. And I only needed those three left because I already had Lunala. I had the little Pinchy Pokemon. I keep forgetting who that is, of course, because I find that Pokemon to be forgettable. And I had Litten and Rowlet, of course. But I only needed Solgaleo, a Tongoose, and a Pikachu. I only needed those. But I believe they discontinued them, and I don't know what the hell they did because I really don't care. But yeah, that's all the figures that I have. And last but not least, the last product I want to show you. Man, I already did a long recap. It's a Pokeball. So, of course, what is this Pokeball? Well, it's just a Pokeball, but if I actually open it, it's filled with puzzle pieces. This is actually a Pokemon puzzle. I was given this as a Christmas gift. I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, it's just a Pokeball, but I didn't know what it was. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh, it's a puzzle. Okay. So when I opened it, I was like, I think the puzzle pieces are inside, but I didn't expect. Well, I mean, I did expect the bag in it, so I was like, yeah, but just nothing, but just metal. But it's pretty cool. I mean, I was like, well, this is gonna be in my collection, of course, and I thought, oh, this is something weird but unique to own. I mean, I don't collect puzzles, but I thought having having something related to one of my favorite franchises and of course one of my favorite Nintendo franchises. Thought why not? But of course, I mean, I am heavily excited for Pokemon on the Switch. I think it's going to be awesome. And I mean, like I said, I only play main series Pokemon games. I don't play spin-off games. I mean, I am going to collect for spin-off games because I'm like, you can't have a Nintendo collection without the Pokemon spin-off games. So you do need that. And unfortunately, I have to get them, even though I don't play the spin-off games. Only Stadium, Snap, Puzzle League, and the XD and Coliseum games, of course. But this is really cool. I mean, I I don't like that you spin it around that yeah, it kind of disembodies. But of course, that is the Pokeball that I got with the Pokemon puzzles. But yeah, this is it, and it has the trademark, the Pokemon Company trademark. I believe, yeah, Game Freak, and Nintendo, of course. But that is it. That's well the recap of what I got in 2017, all the Nintendo items that I got, of course, the Nintendo Switch, the uh, the SNES Classic, the Mario figure, the Pikachu Pokemon Center stuffed animal that I got, of course, and the Pokeball with the Pokemon pieces, the McDonald's Mario and Pokemon toys, of course. Uh, I thought it was pretty decent for what I got. I mean, well, like I said, it wasn't a lot, but I do know that my collection is going to expand a lot. But I mean, as of now, I mean, I'm only expanding it a little bit because now that I have a job, I have to also save money for not just my job, of course, because I usually of course save my money for bus rides and of course because school. But I mean, yeah, I am still expanding my collection, and of course, it's I mean, it's not everything that I got this year wasn't really big, but at least it shows the signs of my collection growing expandedly, and I hope to continue that more. But yeah. Oh, and course, one last thing that I want to show off, 3DS. 3DS games, of course. Didn't get a lot of games on the 3DS, but I got many titles, of course, on the 3DS. So one of the titles that I got this year for the 3DS? Well, I got Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. I did get older titles because I really want to play older 3DS titles again, and just because every first party title that is on the 3DS is just mind blowing. It's just fantastic. So I got Mario Kart 7 because I thought, well, before my Nintendo Switch comes up, I kind of want to hype myself for Mario Kart 8. So I thought Mario Kart 7 would be a game that I would get to hype me up. So I got that, of course, completed it all, and yeah, it's Mario Kart. Can't say anything more about it. Next game I got was New Super Mario Brothers 2, of course. An older title, but I kind of wanted to hype myself up for Mario Odyssey. Yes, it's a 2D Mario game, but who cares? If I wanted to hype myself for Mario Odyssey, I was gonna play, older Mario titles too. So I thought, why not? But I was also playing Mario 64 as well on my N64 because that that was another game that was gonna hype me up too for Mario Odyssey. But of course, I was playing every older Mario title to hype me up for Mario Odyssey. So and then again, I really wanted to play New Super Mario Brothers 2 again. I thought it was really awesome if I can actually pick that game up. So another game that I also got too is Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. And I have played Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, and I did not own it, but I remember playing it when it came out. And I was just like, oh my god, dude, this game is just awesome. Because it was just, to me, it was just a throwback to the series that I grew up and loved to death, of course, the Donkey Kong Country franchise. And I never thought that Nintendo, of course, would reintroduce the franchise, like, I mean, not reboot it, but like, reinstall it and just give it something new. And that's what Donkey Kong Country Returns was, and Tropical Freeze on the Wii U was fantastic. But having it on the go, definitely, it's really awesome. It is pretty hard. So if you think about it, as we all know, Cuphead is the most recent, most hardest game to come out for 2017. So basically, I can definitely guarantee you that Donkey Kong Country Returns is basically Nintendo's version of Cuphead before Cuphead was even released. So yeah, it is pretty difficult, but I love it because it's Donkey Kong Country. I love Donkey Kong, of course. Donkey Kong is one of my favorite Nintendo characters, so I was like, I needed to get it. And I also got, now, this was a while back, but I didn't know about this. Now, I think it was back in 2011 that when the Nintendo 3DS was released, as we all know, the 3DS was priced for like $249, which is really expensive, more expensive than the PS Vita. And so when the 3DS, of course, first launched, for people who bought the product back in 2011, Nintendo did this service called the Ambassadors Program, where if you signed up, they would give you 10 free NES games and 10 free Game Boy Advance games. I didn't know about this. I'm gonna be honest, I did not. You're gonna be like, but you're a Nintendo fan. Wouldn't you know anything about this? Well, guys, at the time, I did not have a 3DS because it was expensive, and instead of getting a 3DS, I got the PS Vita because I thought, well, I wanted to try the Vita out, and well, me owning a Vita was a big mistake because the Vita. I mean, the Vita was not a bad console, but Sony really trashed the Vita in the end. And we all know what happened to the Vita. I'm like, look at the 3DS. This thing is still alive and is still being supported by Nintendo, and Sony's not even doing jack for the Vita. So I'm like, at least Nintendo cares about still supporting their handheld products other than Sony. But of course, everything has to do because of mobile gaming. But I'm not a mobile gamer. I'm still a traditional handheld Nintendo gamer. And of course, to me, handheld gaming to me is still alive, and I'm more of a handheld gamer than I am a mobile gamer. And then again, I'm not a big fan of mobile games. But I mean, I do have some mobile Nintendo titles I want to talk about, of course. So another game that I also got to, I was gonna say the 10 games that I got. So there were 10 NES games that I got. Uh, and I mean, I can't name them all, but I'm gonna just show you the ones that I got. But I can only show you a little bit because battery's dying. But because, I mean, naming them all is going to be hard to remember, but I'll just show you the ones I got. And I also got 10 free Game Boy Advance games, which I didn't think Game Boy Advance on the 3DS was possible, but it's, yep. So so from the 10 games I gotten was Donkey Kong Jr. Can't see that, but there you go. Super Mario Brothers. And I also got Ice Climber, Wrecking Crew, Balloon Fight. Metroid was one of them. Zelda 1 and 2, of course. And I did not get Punch-Out. Punch-Out was not a part of that line. I actually bought Punch-Out. Super Mario Brothers 3 wasn't in that lineup. I bought Super Mario Brothers 3. This is actually part of the 10 free games lineup. NES Open Tournament Golf, which in Japan is known as Family Computer Tournament Golf. Yoshi was one of them too. And that's about it. And so from the Game Boy Advance, I have... I'll show you all the titles here. Alright, so I got F-Zero Maximum Velocity. And I have... Oh, what's cool is that it also does the Game Boy Advance startup. Mario Kart Super Circuit. And, of course, Wario Land 4. One of my favorite Game Boy Advance games. And also Yoshi's Island, the Game Boy Advance port of the game. Metroid Fusion, one of my favorite 2D Metroid games. WarioWare, Mega Micro Games. One of my favorite. You know, little thing about WarioWare. I was never that big of a WarioWare fan. I never played that much of the WarioWare games, but once I started playing micro games, I got so heavily addicted to it. I didn't want to put my 3DS down. I was like, why didn't I get this game years ago for my Game Boy Advance? Oh my god. The big mistake that I did not owning this game, but I'm happy that I have it, and it's really addictive, guys. I'm a huge fan of the Wario Land games, but WarioWare, I was never that big of a fan of the WarioWare games. But once I got heavily addicted to this, I was like, dude, I gotta play all the installments of this franchise. And I got Kirby the Amazing Mirror. And one of my favorite Mario games on the Game Boy Advance, Mario vs. DK, Mario vs. Donkey Kong. And then Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. I think this was one of the first Fire Emblem games that came out to the United States after Marth and Roy were featured in Super Smash Bros. Melee. I think this was one of the first ones. Actually, no. The first one that was featured was called just Fire Emblem. But I think this was a sequel to that game, of course. And the last game is, well, one of my favorites, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. And last game that I got on the 3DS, actually, another game that I forgot to mention, I also got Luigi's Mansion. And as you can tell, the games that I mentioned are down here. And, of course, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, fun game. Pretty challenging, but at least it's more challenging than the original one. But I still love the original one on GameCube. But this one is the better version, in my opinion. And I got Metroid Samus Returns, which is one of the latest titles that came out for the 3DS, and it's really, really fantastic, guys. I'm still playing it. I recently got it, of course, but it's really awesome to see a 2D Metroid game, a new 2D Metroid game. I'm surprised Nintendo even brought back the 2D genre of Metroid back into the palm of handheld, because I really think it was just awesome to see a remake of Metroid 2, but a more modified and a more newer version of Metroid 2 with this game. It's just really awesome, really awesome. It's really a fun game. And as you can tell, my wallpaper on the 3DS is a Skyward Sword wallpaper, and you can hear that that's the Skyward Sword theme. Pretty interesting. But yeah, that is what I got in this year too, and it's really awesome. Really, really awesome. Really, really awesome products that I got. And another game that I also got too. I got this one physically. Which is Star Fox 64 3D. And of course, I did not own this when it came out, but I wanted to have it in my collection. And of course, then again, I love Star Fox 64, and I wanted to play the 3DS remake so badly, so I was like, I need to get it. And it's pretty fun, of course. It's just Star Fox 64, just on handheld. But It's really fun. Get the cartridge one more time. But yeah. And of course, I'm continuing to expand my 3DS collection with more games, of course, and I'm also expanding it with virtual console games, of course, because I am huge, I love buying games from the virtual console. And my case, of course, is a Zelda case. I did not get this year. I got it back when I got my 3DS. But it was it yeah, it's an awesome case. Of course, it's a Zelda case. Well, that pretty much covers it up. What I've shown you, of course. But it's crazy that I've been talking about this for like an hour. But hey, it's a recap video, and it would make sense. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff not a lot of stuff, but it was a lot of stuff that I showed you from 3DS, Switch, of course, games I also mentioned on Switch too. But it's pretty fun. Just showing you all the stuff I got. Like I said, it's not a lot, but I could see my collection, expanding uh, from the stuff from everything that I'm getting. But yeah, that about covers it. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for actually watching this recap of all the Nintendo merch that I got, of course, for 2017 and the products, of course. Now, of course, like I said, I am expanding my collection a lot, and I hope that it keeps expanding, of course, because as a diehard Nintendo fan, that is what I've always wanted to do. I've always one day dreamed about having my own collection of everything related to Nintendo, and I can see that expanding. And I just hope that, and like I said, I hope that it still keeps continuing because I just want this to, like I said, it's becoming a thing of reality now, and I can definitely see that. Of course, my collection, like I said, it's not the biggest, but it's expanding, and I hope that it keeps doing that, of course. And yeah, that is my recap of Nintendo products that I did, of course, that I did get for 2017, Switch, the SNES Classic, of course, and well, plushies, toys, everything. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Of course, as we all know, 2017 was not the best year, but for me, one thing that pretty much liked for 2017 was this, the release of this. Pretty much, 2017 was definitely a year for Nintendo. I think they're back on. I know they're back on track. The Switch has been selling outrageous. It's been selling like hotcakes worldwide. This thing has already outsold the Wii U's lifespan, and I'm just like, it even outsold the sales of the PS2. Well, not the entire sales, but when it outsold the sales of the PS2 when the PS2 launched back in the day, and it's amazing to see that. And I'm just like, holy crap! This is just doing hotcakes. I mean, of course. I mean, it's one of a kind of a hybrid console that that's just really revolutionary, and it's going to be a console that is going to be looked back for years to come. But I do see a bigger lifespan of this console than the Wii U got. But the Wii was able to maintain to be in the market for 5 years, and I do give credit that, of course, the Wii U had more of a lifespan than the Sega Saturn did, and the Dreamcast, of course. So at least we see the Wii U had having a more of a lifespan than the Saturn and the Dreamcast. But of course, now the Wii U has been officially discontinued, last year. But of course, this is really, this is what I see in Nintendo's future, and I hope Nintendo keeps doing great with this, because this is really what their future is, and I see it in this console. Of course, 2018 is going to be a good year. I mean, we're going to get great games on the Switch. We have a Pokemon RPG game that is coming out for the Switch. Of course, a main series Pokemon game. I cannot wait for it. I mean, like I said, as a big Pokemon fan, I can't wait. That is a game that I'm more hyped up than Sun and Moon. So yeah, and of course, I'm also excited for Metroid Prime 4. Who would ever thought that a fourth installment of Metroid Prime was going to come out for this? I didn't think so. No, bring back F-Zero, Nintendo. Come on, bring it back. I even want an Ice Climbers game. I mean, come on. bring back Excite Bike, bring back other past franchises. I mean, as we all know, also non-traditional Nintendo IPs are also coming out, which mean games like Pikmin, of course, Metroid, Punch Out, of course, and many other more franchises are also coming to the Switch. F-Zero is also one of them. Maybe we can get a new F-Zero game for this. I'm like, come on, Nintendo, bring back F-Zero. Come on, I want another F-Zero game on this. Come on, do it. Of course, yeah. And we're also having a Yoshi game that is also being developed, and I believe it's going to be a sequel to Yoshi's uh, Woodley World for the Wii U, which is actually it's actually a pretty fun game. If you're a fan of Yoshi's Story for the N64, that game is basically like a spiritual successor to that game, and it's fantastic. I'm a huge fan of that game, so for it to be a successor to that, definitely good. And a sequel, and since it's going to be a sequel to that, I'm hyped up for that game on Switch. And Kirby Star Allies, which is the Kirby title that will be coming out to the Switch. Can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome, and it's gonna be great. Of course, I know a new Zelda game is also being developed, and I hope. I mean, I don't think it's going to come out for more than 5 more years later, but definitely, it's definitely something really worth. Switch definitely good, definitely great. Um, I gave it a 7 out of 10 when it first came out because I just thought it's good, but I don't think it's like the best console that I played so far yet. But now that I'm having more fun with it, now that I just feel like it's now that I just been more heavily addicted to it, it's an 8 out of 10 for me, and I'm happy with it. And of course, I hope that, of course, you guys are happy with your guys' Switches too, because this thing is just really fun and really addictive. That's it, guys. Well, that was a recap for all the Nintendo stuff that I got for 2017. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Well, of course, if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down, whatever. If you want more gaming and more Nintendo content, subscribe to the channel, of course. Um, and I hope to, of course, do more gameplay videos. I just did a gameplay for Versus Super Mario Brothers, and that was I did not expect that game to get a lot of views, but I'm happy that I'm happy that I finally did a Switch game. I mean, I know it wasn't a Switch game; it was an arcade game, but at least it showed that, of course, uh, at least it showed gameplay from the Nintendo Switch. For the Nintendo Switch console, and I hope I get to do more. Of course, I also want to do maybe in the future. Once I get a gaming, one of those gaming cameras, of course, those game camcorders for for live streams and stuff like that. Maybe I get to do something like that in the future. But for now, I could just do like game quickies because I really love doing that. I did one for the Adventure of Link, so that is one of my favorite YouTube videos, and I done another one on F-Zero, and I did that one for versus Super Mario Brothers. So yeah, I hope to do more of those because that is what I plan to do. Uh, Maybe not daily, but something something once a while. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you. Well, I hope to, of course, see you whenever I have time to do more videos. Now that I have work, of course, because work keeps me up from doing YouTube and school as well. But of course, I still hope to maintain and do more videos for 2018, and I hope that I get to expand. I get to expand more of my content for 2018 and see how that goes. All right, thank you guys for watching my channel. Of course, subscribe, like, comment. Of course, Trek Force Master 2000. Bye.